this week's lowdown. If you notice, we're inside in the cart barn in the net, and the reason we're in here is mostly because it's freezing cold outside. So it looks like it's going to be that way for a little bit. So I kind of want to take this opportunity today to talk about our FlightScope machine that we have in here for your availability, and to talk about numbers in particular. So when most people come in and use our FlightScope machine during the wintertime, they just kind of generally watch the shot, watch what the ball would have done if it stood outside. But I think it's also important to understand some of the numbers that the FlightScope machine gives you. So I want to show you what numbers I think are important to look at, and also maybe how to interpret those numbers or understand those numbers. I think the best way for me to do it is we're going to kind of split back and forth in today's video. I'm going to hit a shot, and Jay's going to come in and zoom in on our monitor here, and we're just going to sit there and talk about some numbers. So let's get at it here. All right, so I'm going to hit a ball, and when you come into the net and you work on the FlightScope, there's a flag. I don't know if you can see it on the video or not, but when you're in here hitting balls off this most right mat, you can see it. There's a blue flag, and that's your target line. And if we have it all, every day we kind of come in and set up the aim of the machine. So it's all set up for you. All right, so give it a shot here. All right, so when you see this monitor, when Jay brings it in here, you see it's a pretty straight shot. 7-iron only flew about 112, first shot of the day, didn't swing at it that hard. Me and Jay are looking at my shot now, and if you look at this monitor here, this orange line and this yellowish line represents where the ball would have gone. Over on the right here, it shows you carry distance, which for that shot was 112. It shows you how fast I swung it. So anyway, those are some general numbers that you're looking at. Now, there's some important numbers that I want people to pay attention to. There's 4 numbers that I think that are the most important numbers for you to look at. The first one I'm going to talk about is horizontal swing plane. Okay, and I did this on that swing a little purposely. If you notice, I tried to cut across it on that swing. That horizontal swing plane on that was 11.2 degrees. Okay, now the second number over here, my club path was 4.3 degrees. Left, L indicates left. Okay, and then one more number for the time being, which was a tack angle of minus 7.4. So I want to take a second and explain those 3 numbers to you. Okay, so we're back at full view here, and the first number of the 3 that I showed you that I want to talk about is horizontal swing plane. And essentially what that is a measurement of the shape of your arc. Okay, so we know that when we swing, we can kind of swing in 3 different ways. And imagine for me, if you will, that this orange rod that I have here, hopefully you can see that, is my target line. Okay? And we can kind of swing in 3 different ways. We can swing the club from in to out. Okay, that would be a horizontal swing plane tilted to the right. We can swing the club what a lot of people think is ideal, and that is that the club is from the inside to the target line at the moment of impact, and then back to the left. And that's fairly ideal, I guess. You always have some disagreements with that. And then a lot of people swing the club over the top, okay, which I did on that one. My horizontal swing plane was left 11.2. So essentially my swing path on that one was out to in, or to the left. That's what horizontal swing plane indicates. What direction is your club moving while you swing? What is the shape of the swing, and how much? Okay, now the second number that I asked you to look at was club path. Okay, my club path on that was left 4.3. Okay, and so this is where we get people getting confused a little bit. What is the difference between club path and horizontal swing plane? Okay, and club path is what direction was my club moving the moment I hit the golf ball. Okay, so for example, let's take a perfect golf swing or an inside to the target line, back to the inside swing. That would be a horizontal swing plane of 0. But if you notice, as I'm swinging down here, as I'm moving towards the target line, my club is moving to the right. So even on a swing plane of 0, there's points on the swing where my club is moving to the right. It's moving right and down, right and down, right and down. It gets down to the bottom, now it's moving straight. And as I swing to the left now it's moving up and to the left, up and to the left, up and to the left. So even though my horizontal swing plane was 0 in that particular illustration right there, there's points where I'm swinging down and to the right, there's points where I'm swinging up and to the left. And so what club path is what was the club doing, not from 9 to 3, but what was the club doing the moment I struck the golf ball, okay? And then the third number I asked you to look at on that sequence at least was angle of attack, and that was 7.4, okay, down. Now, angle of attack, there is ideal angles of attack. With an iron, you want to be subtly down on the ball, maybe 2 or 3 degrees, you know, maybe a pitching wedge 4 degrees, 7-iron about 2 or 3, longer irons maybe just down a little bit, and driver certainly you want to hit the ball on the way up. That's how you're going to get your most distance out of the driver. Iron you want to hit down on a little bit to make sure that you're hitting the ball first consistently. But there's also a right amount. So understand this. The club path that I'm hitting the ball will kind of help determine the direction of the ball. Face will do more, but the club path will determine the direction of the ball. But if you see horizontal swing plane, the shape of the swing, and you see your club path just a lot different, typically you're hitting either too much up or too much down. So that swing, I was swinging to the left, but because I was hitting so far down the golf ball, my club path wasn't moving as far to the left as my swing plane was. So I taught a young man earlier in here tonight whose club path number was right around 0, okay? But his swing plane numbers were 5 degrees, 6 degrees to the left. So I knew that he was hitting too much down the golf ball, and that angle of attack number illustrated that. So what's the problem hitting too much down the ball? If you notice, when I held the camera up to the monitor, that ball flew very low. And as it flew very low, then, you know, it only went 112 yards, partly because I didn't swing that hard, but partly because I hit it so low, it couldn't get the full distance out of the speed of my swing. Secondly, if you hit down the golf ball too much, in that illustration there, if you're hitting too much down the golf ball, when you hit a ball fat, it doesn't go anywhere. If you're hitting down but not hitting down as much, if you hit the ball fat, let's say I'm trying to hit the ball 150 yards, and I'm sweeping the ball, hitting down, but I'm only hitting down a couple degrees. Oftentimes, if I hit it fat, or let's say an inch behind the ball may travel 115, 120 yards. But if I'm hitting down severely, okay, then if I hit behind it, I may only hit it 5 or 10 yards. Who knows? I may get stuck in the ground and not be able to move the ball at all. So there is some ideals. And ideally, we want our swing path number, or excuse me, our club number to be about maybe 2 degrees to the right, and we want our swing plane to be really kind of right around 0. Those are some ideal numbers. So now what I'm going to do is hit another shot for you here, and I'm going to try to change what I did and show you some different numbers here. So hopefully you can see this here as you look at the monitor. I don't know how it comes across on video, but if you notice my shot went too far left. I hooked it pretty good. But it went about twice as high as the one before, and about 139 yards, and actually only on 77.1 miles per hour. So I swung softer and hit the ball another, 25 yards or so. Okay, but I want to look at some of those numbers again. So my horizontal swing plane was much more correct there. That was about left 0.9, so it was about a degree to the left, so pretty close to being close to ideal there. Okay, and my angle of attack, Jay, if you can move it all the way over here, was about 0.9 degrees on the way down. So again, pretty close to ideal. Club path, notice that my horizontal swing plane and my club path was 0.3 degrees left. Those match up a lot better now, or closer to each other, because my angle of attack wasn't so far down on it there. And that's probably, even though I hooked that one, and we're going to talk about that, that's probably a preferable way to swing. Again, so I'm sweeping the ball a little bit more, hitting down on it still, but sweeping it a little bit more, and hitting higher shots that can also stop on a green. Now, probably the most important number on all of this is this number right here, and that's face angle. Okay, face angle on that one was left 5.5. And there's two things I want you to think about when we talk about face angle. First of all, face angle determines the starting the direction of the golf ball. Your club path doesn't nearly determine the starting direction of your golf ball as much as the face angle will. Okay, 75 to 80% of the direction of the golf ball is determined by the face angle. And my ball started, if you look, if you can see it there, started well left. You see the target line, you see where my ball started well left of the target line because my face was closed to the target line right there. So that determines the direction of the ball. And then the second thing I think you really want to pay attention to here is this face angle number compared to the club path. okay? And those, in this case, are 5.2 degrees different. My club path was 0.3 left, my face angle was 5.5 degrees left. So they're 5.2 degrees in the difference. And the bigger the difference when you see those numbers, the bigger the difference between the club path and the face angle, the more spin you put on the golf ball, assuming you hit the ball in the center of the face. So ideally when you're in here, not only looking at your face number and your club path number, but you're looking at those in relationship to each other. Because if you can get those where they don't vary but maybe a degree or so, and you're hitting the ball in the center of the face, you're going to hit a lot of straight shots. Okay, it's when you get those two numbers that diverge from each other quite a bit, that you're going to hit a lot of spin to the right or a lot of spin to the left. You're going to have a hard time controlling your golf ball. All right, so let's go back to full screen here. One is I'm going to encourage you to come out. It's cold outside. I'm going to come out and encourage you to use the net. It's always a good idea that you call ahead and make sure that there's not a whole lot of people already using it back there. We don't take reservations, but it's good to call ahead and so you know what's going on back here before you come out. And hopefully, here I'm also looking for a little feedback. How good a job I did on explaining some of this stuff to you, because it can get a little complicated. But really, there's four numbers I want you to look at. I want to look at your swing plane. I want to look at your club path, your angle of attack, and your face. And from there, you can kind of determine what you think it is making the ball go sideways or straight, and so you can kind of work on your swing from that point. So hopefully I didn't lose you there. Hopefully this information is good for you. Come on out, use it. If you need help, we'll explain it to you. We'll see you next week on the Lowdown.